Good afternoon. It's just a few hours before Shabbat in Toronto. Again, let me wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. Now, very serious issue right now. Just a few hours ago, the government of Canada condemned Israel for what they call the expansion of settlements. Now, let me just say, we put out a statement condemning the statement from the government of Canada, because what their statement does is condemn Jews for natural growth, for giving birth to more Jews in Judea and Samaria, and expanding homes that exist there, denying the Jewish connection to the land of Israel, to Judea and Samaria. The area in Judea and Samaria where the settlements are approximately 2% of the land. It's outrageous. So we put out a statement. We said the following statement from the government of Canada is anti-Semitic because it denies the Jewish historical claims to the land of Israel. The increase of home expansion for Jews in Judea and Samaria is the result of Jewish families giving birth to more Jews and the need for more homes. So they condemn that. We read you the statement from the government of Canada. It was just today, Global Affairs Canada. The foreign ministers of Australia, they joined it with Australia and the UK. The foreign ministers of Australia, Canada, and the UK today issued the following statement. The foreign ministers of Australia, Canada, and the UK are deeply concerned by the recent events in Israel and the West Bank, which further reduce the prospects for peace. They don't even call it Judea and Samaria the correct names. Any Christian that reads the Bible doesn't mention the West Bank, doesn't mention Palestine, it mentions Judea. We are gravely concerned by the government of Israel's approval on June 26th of over 5,700 new settlement units in the West Bank. 5,700. How many homes are built in Toronto and surrounding areas? It's ridiculous. We are also concerned by the changes to the settlement approval process instituted by the government of Canada on June 18th, which facilitated swifter approval of construction and settlements. We're not invaders. These are Jewish towns. The continued expansion of settlements is an obstacle to peace and negatively impacts efforts to achieve a negotiated two-state solution. We call on the government of Israel to reverse these decisions. Two-state solution? Israel has offered, ever since the birth of Israel, some kind of formula for peace. If Jews have no right to live in Judea and Samaria, what gives Arabs the right to live in Israel, the Jewish state? Basic question. But Jews allow Arabs to live and thrive in Israel in every profession. Every profession. But in Judea and Samaria, the rules of the game somehow change. You know, what they talk about, the so-called Green Line, that includes the Kotel, where Jews pray. At the Kotel, Jews consider that site to be one of the most holy for Jewish people, aside from the Temple Mount, aside from Har Bayit, aside from in Hebron, where our forefathers and matriarchs are buried. It's holy to the Jewish people. They're denying the Jewish claim. By the way, in these so-called settlements, Gush Etzion and others, there were Jewish communities there prior to 1948. And during the war in 1948, Arab armies and Arab terror gangs murdered Jews living in these areas. And when the war ended, we had the so-called Armistice line drawn up. And Jordan cleansed the area, East Jerusalem, what they call the West Bank, of Jewish historical claims, Jewish historical artifacts, synagogues, Jewish cemeteries. It was unbelievable what the Jordanians did. And when Israel won the war in 1967, when they were again attacked by Arab armies seeking to wipe out Israel, Israel returned to these areas and extended the hand for peace, which was rejected continuously. The continued expansion of settlements is an obstacle to peace and negatively impacts efforts to achieve a negotiated two-state solution. Just a few days ago, a terror group, probably Hamas, in Judea and Samaria, fired rockets. Jews in Israel are very concerned. Rockets? We have rockets coming from Gaza. Does this mean that Canada wants Israel to retreat and allow the mountain ridges in Judea and Samaria that overlook major population centers, Tel Aviv, Tanya, other cities, and Ben Gurion Airport, to be at the mercy of rocket fire from these mountains? Statement from the government of Canada is anti-Semitic. Look, we're going to continue to speak the truth. Unfortunately, in the Jewish community, the community is not so unified. Self-hating organizations like New Israel Fund, JSpace Canada, they're doing their best to work their way into synagogues in Toronto to get Jews, and I believe that's going on in other cities as well, and in the United States, and probably in Europe, to make Jews feel ashamed of Israel. That's why the Best Tzedek Synagogue in Toronto, just over a week ago, invited a BDS supporter, Shaul Mugged, who is anti-Israel, doesn't believe that a Jewish state should exist, is against the IRA definition of anti-Semitism, discounts Islamic anti-Semitism. Islamic anti-Semitism goes way back. Who do you think the first people were to put up books denying the Holocaust? It came from Saudi Arabia. I remember one of the first books denying the Holocaust was put up by someone by the strange name Bill Grimstad. When research was done, it ended up that was just a pseudonym. He was a Saudi agent, and he wrote a book called The 6 Million Reconsidered that was being promoted by groups, such one group that I infiltrated. They're in Washington, D.C. This is in the 80s, Liberty Lobby, headed by a person by the name of Willis Carto. And they were receiving funding from Libya and other Arab countries as well. And they were putting out an organization called the Institute for Historical Review, which conducted seminars and published books denying the Holocaust. That's where it came from. That was the agenda. So these organizations like JSpace and New Israel Fund, they deny Islamic anti-Semitism. That's the root of the reason for the wars in Israel, the denial of Jewish historical claims to Israel, the denigration of Jews, the non-acceptance of Jewish rights of equality. We have to fight this, and we're going to fight this. There are people in the Jewish community that I'm associated with, very active, and we have to do a lot more work. One of our projects is the Parsha of the Week from the Temple Mount. I want everybody to be involved with that, because what we have to do in order to change the dynamic, the unfortunate dynamic that's going on in the community with organizations, self-hating organizations like the New Israel Fund and JSpace that are trying to entrench themselves in synagogues and therefore get a stronger base to call on Western governments to condemn Israel We have to fight back with education, with truth. So one way is every week for the past 5 months, we have a Parsha explanation from the Temple Mount, from Harabayat. I want everyone to be part of this project. We've never missed. Very consistent for 5 weeks, and we're going to continue to go on. I want people to join us in this effort. Get the truth out. The Temple Mount, that's at the heart of the issue, our claim to Israel, to the holiness of it, what it means for the Jewish people. We have no expectation, no desire to expand in the Middle East and take over the Middle East. No, that's anti-Semitic BS, world domination. We want our one land. And what Jews are doing in Israel right now, because of the non-recognition on the part of Arabs, of Hamas, the Palestinian Authority, the Islamic Jihad, Jews are getting on with their lives and thriving in Israel, making Israel a much more beautiful country. Get on board. Help us. Visit our website, israelnow.ca. Be part of the solution. Thank you very much. Again, let me make it clear. We condemn the statement from the government of Canada, which condemned Jewish natural growth in Judea and Samaria. Thank you very much.